Do I regret going to law school? I mean, the short answer is I'm happy with where I end up, but it's really not that simple. Hey guys, if you're new here, I'm Emily. I'm a lawyer. I'm about 2 years into practice, and I have talked before on my socials about how I always had this dream of going into finance. And one of the reasons that I kind of went on this path that I did, I was a political science major in undergrad. I took a year off and then I went to law school. And the reason, I would say the biggest reason I went down this path, or the biggest thing that pushed me down this path, was the fact that I was never good at math. I had to retake Algebra 2 in high school. And I mean, I always had an interest in social sciences. I thought I was going to go work on political campaigns. That's why I was a political science major. I worked on 3 campaigns, and my record is 0 for 3. So figured it was a sign to consider something else. And I always knew I wanted to do some sort of grad program, and then the law school I went to gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, and here we are. Granted, I'm very happy with where I am. I love my clients. I love my colleagues. Even though we have some room for improvement in certain areas in my life, I'm really overall happy with how my life looks. With that said, if I could go back in time, I wish I would have at least considered finance more. It's funny because, I say I'm bad at math, but most of the people I know who are in finance are bad at math. Like, this was definitely not really, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe having to retake Algebra 2 is definitely a sign. Feel free to chime in the comments. But I just think, what if I tried harder in school? What if I tried to get a job in private equity? Like, to me, when I look at the parts of my life that I'm still not where I want to be, I just think, like, dang, private equity looks so freaking cool. Like, yes, I know the hours are insane, but lately I've gotten to this point in my life where I've been working crazy hours on things that I'm really passionate about and love. Like, I always would see people who would start these businesses and they were so obsessed with it that they just couldn't even stop themselves from working. Like, I recently watched an interview with Mr. Beast because I'm fairly new to YouTube, wanting to really hopefully make something of this. And I think it's really admirable to see his journey and how, he was made fun of by other kids. Like, he couldn't really focus in school, and like, he was just so into YouTube and knew he wanted to be a YouTuber. And I'm now finally at this point in my life with both my day job and my social media ventures where I'm like, dang, I actually really love this and I'm really passionate about it. And it still feels like work, but it is getting to a point where it's like, I'm excited on Monday mornings. And this is really the first time in my life that I've actually felt that way. And so I wonder, dang, what if I really did try harder to get into this industry that's like really intense and really just discover what are my capabilities, like what's my maximum, like what is my best really look like. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I started my career in litigation. I didn't like it for many reasons. I found it to be really emotionally demanding. So if you're seeing this, maybe it's a sign to just kind of keep a more open mind. I think that's really what this all comes down to, is when I think of, do I regret law school? That the root of that is really the fact that I was just so self-limiting in my options that I didn't even really give myself the proper opportunity to entertain other options and really choose law school. It very much felt like this path that I kind of just fell into because I didn't feel like I had any other means to succeed. And, knowing what I know now, I've learned, like, you really do, like, I'm Canadian, I can't help it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And if you truly want to be successful, you cannot bet against yourself. And I think that's really what I did. I mean, granted, law school, I had okay grades. I had really bad grades in high school. I had great grades in college. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's because I was taking classes I was actually interested in. But I really wish that I would have allowed myself to kind of have a more broad perspective of what I could do. Because I think now, this journey that life has taken me on, I've definitely done things and gotten opportunities that I once would like never in my wildest dreams have thought possible. And the reason those things have happened is because I've been more willing to ask for things, to, rise to the occasion. I mean, closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, I can throw every cheesy slogan at you guys that I can think of, but they really are true. Man, like if I could just go back to my 17-year-old self and like slap myself on the back of the head, like one, friggin' try harder, please. And two, like stop limiting yourself. Like other people don't get to determine your ceiling. You get to decide where your ceiling is. And it's interesting because a family friend of mine who is in high school asked me if grades matter. And in classic lawyer fashion, my answer was, well, it depends. What do you want to do with it? And my exact advice to her was I said, better grades will give you more options. If you have lower grade, like it really just depends on, where do you want to get to and what is it going to take to get there? And if you have lower grades, you're going to have fewer options. And I really wish I knew that. So I mean, granted, my average audience, at least on Instagram and TikTok, I don't have enough data on YouTube to know this, but my average audience is 25 to 34. So I imagine there probably isn't anyone in high school watching this. But if there's one thing I can take away with every time that I've second guessed my decision to go to law school, it's, am I really living up to my full potential? That's key. And I think too, especially with my social media endeavors, like, YouTube is a new thing for me, very much exposure therapy for everything I hate about myself. But with TikTok, Instagram, I recently started another account and I hope to one day scale this. And with my social media endeavors, when I first started getting better at this and started monetizing social media, I thought, dang, like, did I really waste the best years of my life going to law school? But I also have to remind myself, like, yes, the piece of paper is one thing, but I do think overall that law school made me a better person. I mean, granted, I was an arrogant little shit before I went to law school. I mean, I still am, but at least now I have a little more to show for it. But I think too, I have to remind myself that like, okay, well, I can't go back in time, so there's no point in really dwelling over these regrets. I think if nothing else, do I regret going to law school? No, I don't, but I am gonna take all these times I've second guessed the decision as a lesson to not bet against myself and really just allow myself to explore my full potential. Because I do sometimes wonder, what would my life look like if I had just gone down that different path, tried harder, tried to get a job in private equity, who knows? My friends in PE, man, they definitely work a lot, that's for sure. They work more than I do, but granted, between my day job and social media, I basically have 2 full-time jobs. But it is what it is. So anyways, if you're watching this and you're a lawyer, or maybe you're in private equity and you're like, wow, why did I do this to myself? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Any tips for anyone considering law school? I think I just feel really strongly about using my platforms to give people as honest of a perspective as possible. Like, if you can hear the negative sides of this journey and still want to go, I think you're going to be just fine. So would love to hear any thoughts in the comments. If you're not already, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok for up-to-date lawyer-themed dark humor. As always, I'll see you next Sunday, and thanks for watching.